We all love video games for different reasons. Maybe it's the art direction, the gameplay, or fantastic music. While all of that is great, it also helps if the game has a fantastic cast of characters. I mean, have you ever played a game that has such an awesome character that you just want to go, dude, he's such a bro? But now that that's out of the way, let's start up this top 10. And remember, this is my list of favorite characters, so if you don't agree, sorry. But anyways, let's get this started.
Number 10.
Gruntilda Wikibunion. She's mean, green, and smells like onions. A favorite of mine because she loves to rhyme. Grunty is one of the more memorable characters from my childhood. She's just a stereotypical witch who does stereotypical things. She's really disgusting, and most of the things you find out about her over the course of the game are just ridiculous, like the fact that she wears crusty brown underwear, or how she brushes her teeth with salted slug toothpaste. And while these facts about her character may seem minuscule, you actually have to use them on her in the latter half of the game. Rare took all the things you'd expect from a storybook witch, put it in a blender, and hit frappe. She ended up being a hilarious character because of it, though. The fact that they made her stop rhyming in Banjo-Tooie took away some of the charm that she once had in the original, but regardless of this, she's still a great character, whether she's skin and bones, or, well, just bones.
Number 9.
Okay, so this character is going to seem completely out of the blue, but I have to say, out of the 7 Koopalings, Iggy Koopa is my favorite. This dates all the way back to the early days when I first played Super Mario World. I'll never forget the first time you ever encounter Iggy in Castle 1. You climb on the wired fences, dodge all those logs that are falling out of the sky, and then you finally encounter him on that tilting platform, and when you knock him into the lava, it's so freaking satisfying if you're a 3-year-old. But I always liked the way he was portrayed as some demented lunatic. His rainbow hair and glasses really helped his image because he often had swirly eyes and he was just flat out crazy. For some reason I really liked that. When the Koopalings were first announced to make a return in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I felt like the most excited 14-year-old the world had to offer. Really not sure why I was so excited though. That is until I saw his redesign, which was the most drastic of all the other Koopalings. He was much taller, and, well, he had a palm tree sticking out of his head. What's up with that, man? The redesign grew on me after a while, and I began to like him even more after finally getting to play the game, because he was actually a maniacal bastard like Super Mario World described him to be. He slaps his cheeks before every boss fight and laughs at you as you're in the face of danger. Not to mention his boss fights were always my favorite every time a new Super Mario Bros. Game hit the shelves. I can't wait to play as him in Mario Kart 8. Mainly so I can destroy my friends in the craziest of fashions with the craziest character in the game. Number 8. The king of all things fat, D3, King Dedede. While all the characters in Kirby are cutesy and lovable, King Dedede is just off somewhere being fat. He stole all the food in Dreamland. I mean, what kind of king does that to his own people? He's a dick for no reason, but I guess that's what makes him so great. He just loves being himself. The first Kirby game I ever played was Kirby 64. As a child, I loved how he played as sort of another playable character. He could jump on enemies like Kirby couldn't, destroy obstacles with his hammer, and he was just very, very great. I loved every minute of playing as him in that game, even though it was only a few short segments, but nonetheless it was still pretty fun and offered a nice change of pace. No matter what game he's in, you can always guarantee that he'll be a character with the most expression on his face, and deep down inside, he isn't a bad guy. He's just sort of a dirtbag, but that's why he's not my favorite.
Number 7.
Kid Icarus Uprising really proved to me that Nintendo games can have great writing when it comes to story. Not that the storylines are usually bad to begin with, there's just usually a lack thereof. Kid Icarus Uprising combined the story elements into the gameplay, and you listen to the dialogue as you progress through the game. It's almost as if you're playing an anime. You get to see the awesome cast of characters converse with each other, and Pit was by far my favorite.
You're going down, Mom! monsters!
Listen to that swagger. You've toughened up nicely, Pit. Remember when you'd be like, unfinished all the time?
I still say that. A lot.
He always went out of his way to break the fourth wall, which actually happens quite a bit, but it was just to reference other games. It was often in an endearing way. His bubbling and cheerful personality never really got annoying to me. He didn't need that dark and edgy personality, because, well, that's what Dark Pit is for. Dark Pit, despite being an entirely different character, added more depth to Pit's personality. Long story short, he's everything that Pit isn't. It really shows what Pit would be like if he was a loose cannon and had nothing to fight for. More than likely, if you haven't played this game, you're going to end up laughing at something Pit says, mainly because the delivery of some of his lines might sound a bit stupid, or something he says just might catch you by surprise. You never know what he's going to say next, and it makes for some very fun conversations.
Your days of darkness are numbered. Prepare to meet the light!
Number 6.
Move, baby, move! Huh? Check this. No! Now you done it. You won't like Doc when he's angry. Ah!
You just saw that, right? Doc Lewis is freaking amazing. Do I even have to explain why he's one of my favorite characters of all time? Jerome Lewis is a retired heavyweight champion of boxing, but that doesn't mean he's a retired heavyweight champion of eating. This dude has a weird obsession with chocolate. Seriously, chocolate is always on this dude's mind. I'm not sure if he's black or just covered in chocolate.
You get the sweet taste of victory from training, Mac, not from chocolate.
Doc Lewis serves as Little Mac's coach in Punch-Out. I love his dialogue and pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth, well, except for the chocolate, of course. It's a video game that got the persona of a black man right, ranging from the way he pronounces certain words or the way he acts in general. Next Level Games got it right. You have no idea how refreshing it was to watch this guy. I don't think I've ever laughed at any other character as much as I've laughed at him. He really gives off an old-school black man feeling. Seeing a true black man in a Nintendo franchise almost brought a tear to my eye. He isn't just a comical character, but also a caring one. He truly wants to see Mac make it into the history books and see him make it to the top. He'll encourage Mac and give him hints on how to defeat opponents. You don't even have to play Punch-Out to love Doc Lewis. He's just that great. When you play this game, Doc Lewis is your nigga. Doc Lewis is my nigga. Chocolate!
Check it. No! I told you before, son.
Number 5. Diddy Kong, the monkey clad in red. What's not to love about him? He's more fun than a barrel full of monkeys. And every time he plays his tune, I bet you'll crack a smile. What other Nintendo character do you know carries pistols, huh? Well, I mean, they shoot peanuts and stuff, but I mean, he's still awesome nonetheless. He's a cool little dude chock full of attitude and has an official girlfriend unlike a certain DK. And I can say from a gameplay perspective, I really like playing as Diddy Kong. Because he's a monkey, and that just sounds like a really weird reason, but I mean, he's really small, he's really agile, and it just makes playing as him in any game that he is in really fun, and it makes him a unique character on this top 10 list, because I don't like him just because of his personality, because the games don't even really have that much of a story. I like him because he's a very, very fun character to play as in any game that he's in. Number 4. Yoshi was introduced in one of my favorite video games of all time, Super Mario World. As a child, I often acted as if I was a Yoshi by getting fruit by the foot and flicking it out as if it were a tongue. Stupid, I know, but you can't say you didn't do things like that as a kid. At the time, I was very used to seeing valuable characters in video games, like Donkey Kong Country for instance. But unlike those animal buddies who didn't make it out of that game, Yoshi became so popular that he got his own series of games. It turns out that Shiggy Baby wanted Mario to have an animal companion after Super Mario Bros., but due to the limitations of the NES, they just couldn't put him on an animal for whatever reason. But why do I love Yoshi, you ask? Well, he's a fat log, he eats creatures as big as houses, and best of all, he's just all about being happy. You can play a Yoshi game and it'll turn that frown upside down. Yoshi is one of the best characters of all time simply just because he's so happy.
Numero 3.
I would have loved to put Mario on this list, but there's a large problem with Mario as a whole. He doesn't have much of a personality. He's just a hero who's destined to save the damsel in distress. There's not much to say about him. Mario's a cardboard box compared to the other characters on this list, which is why I decided to go with Luigi instead. Unlike Mario, Luigi actually has multiple traits that makes him stand out amongst other heroes. He is cowardly, he's clumsy, and he may be one of the most down-to-earth characters in video game history. In Paper Mario, he writes in a diary, hidden under the floorboards in their home. In the diary, you can read about how he wishes that his brother wouldn't leave him behind on adventures. He feels left behind, since Mario often has others traveling with him, but doesn't bother asking him to take him along for the ride. In Mario and Luigi Dream Team, you truly get to see the love that he has for Mario. He looks up to him and is willing to do anything he can to help his brother. He is truly a faithful companion, and it's why he's so lovable. His cowardice and timidness almost make him seem childlike to a certain extent, but that's not a bad thing. It always leads to some hilarious moments, which usually involve him getting screwed over, but that's his character foil. Luigi is always forgotten or left behind, but that's why he's loved by many, because everyone loves the underdog.
Yeah! Yay! Wahoo! Yeah!
Luigi! Ha-ha! Nice job! Way to go!
Number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog is not only a fun character to play as, but he's also very fun to watch. There are so many characters from the Sonic universe that I could have chose to put on this list, but I must say, the blue blur is my favorite. He's got those super speed shoes and he's chock full of attitude. The fact that Sonic is such a cocky bastard just amuses me so much, especially when he fails because of it.
I'm a compassionate man.
That shell looks like trouble.
Hold on a second. Sonic! I think that thing in Eggman's hand
Gone! Eggman's shell is gone.
That was a mistake.
Whatever. When is it a mistake to take your toys away?
When it's the only thing keeping 6 angry Zeti from controlling my mechs.
Cutscenes like that are the main reason why I think Sonic is such a fun character. It wouldn't be a Sonic game without cringeworthy one-liners, or his cocky attitude, or having him flash that smug smile as if he knows he's cool. What more is there to say? He's a blue hedgehog who runs really fast and loves chili dogs. He may have had his fair share of beatings in the Dark Age, but now he's back and ready for a brighter future, all bandaged up and ready to go. My favorite! When you think awesome characters in Mega Man, the first one that may come to mind is Zero, or maybe even Bass, but in my personal opinion, Proto Man is by far the coolest character in the Mega Man series. He's got those groovy shades, a scarf that adds that extra edge, and doesn't wear tights like a majority of the other Robot Masters do. Not to mention the song he whistles is so catchy. When you hear it, you know crap's gonna hit the fan. Proto Man was a robot who was created to be human-like. Being a prototype, he was incomplete, and it was soon discovered that the defect in his nuclear core would soon destroy him. Dr. Light planned to fix this issue, but Proto Man feared that any modifications to him would change his personality. He ended up running away and hating Dr. Light for activating him before his completion. He wanders alone with his insecurities, only showing up when needed, which ends up being a lot. Seriously, I swear he shows up so many times at the end of games just to save Mega Man, it's just a mess. Proto Man is one of the few characters in the series to have any sort of personality. Not that the story is important in Mega Man games anyway, but it's still pretty interesting. I like the idea of having this incomplete robot giving superior models a run for their money. It's kinda cool how his defect factors into his gameplay in recent games. He takes double damage, so in a sense it makes the game harder, which means if you play as him in Mega Man 10 on hard mode, you get double the difficulty. But it's still manageable. I guess the thing I like the most about him is his design. While simplistic, I still love it for some reason. Like I stated before, I like that he doesn't have tights, because sometimes it just looks weird. For example, Zero's redesign in the Zero series made him look very feminine, and the tights really don't help this fact either. If you still don't understand why I think Proto Man is a cool character, well, just check out this cutscene from Mega Man Powered Up. I just think he was meant to be a cool character.
Yo, Proto Me! That madman. Even worse than those Joe robots. To think he'd make something like this. Don't lump me in with that crowd. I'm a perfect replica of you, after all. Explode!
So, I've never really done anything in Slatish before, and if there's anything left to say, if you want to, you can go check out Blue Glue Commentaries, because I actually am there more than I am on my own channel. So, if you want to go check that out, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to, because I know people don't like when people sit at the end of videos and tell them what to watch or what to click. Totally get you guys on that, but I really don't have anything else left to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the top 10, and hopefully I might make more in the future, who really knows, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.